Shwmai, croeso, hello and welcome to episode 83 of the Bluebirds Nest. As you can see, I'm in the home shirt this week to remind you that the club shop selling all of our tour merchandise is still live. So as we approach the end of the season, please be fast if you want any of this year's kit and or the leisure wear before we move into the 2025-26 range. I'm sure you're all thinking it. I'm glad to announce that I'm not a full kitter during the recording before anyone suggests it. On to the episode, someone who truly lives and breathes the club this week. Fell in love with the club a number of years ago, and particularly since the conclusion of his time in the military, has been there through the highs and the lows, home and away, even following the boys across Europe when we took on KF Skendia 2 years ago. He's vice chairman of the ever-growing Haverfordwest County AFC Supporters Association as well. And if that wasn't enough, he's also the dad of Kian, the artistic genius behind that football drawing. As you can see, Mr. Dan Devine, welcome to the Nest.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Pleasure.
We'll come on to the boys and the Supporters Association shortly, but let's start with the obvious then. Your passion for the Bluebirds, and for a good few years now, you've become more and more involved. What got you hooked on following the club then, Dan?
I can't pinpoint exactly when I started following the club. I know my first game down there was with Riley, which is my youngest son. I think he was wanting to play for the academy, so he got down there a little bit. Started watching a few games. We then started watching a few more games. It became a bit of an addiction now. I am down there most games when I'm not working. If I am working, I'm angry, I'm annoyed, I'm everything. I'm addicted to Haverfordwest Football Club. So it's, although now I'm not down there with Riley or Kian, they're too cool for me now. They've got older and do their own things. All three of us are down there in some capacity. The kids will be off somewhere doing something, and I'm on my own watching the football with usually someone from the Supporters Association or mingling with the crowd, or most recently I've been down there stewarding as well. So yeah. I'm definitely involved down there. Yeah, it's an addiction. It's an addiction.
Your travel plans as a family are also through blue-tinted glasses, should we say. I called you Romeo a few weeks ago after a bit of a romantic getaway with Mrs. Devine. You had to go and pick Kian up from the airport up in the northwest somewhere from his latest educational adventure. But you rerouted on the way home to take a weekend in Bala, coincidentally when we were there.
It's Kian was in Finland for 2 weeks with school. So we went and picked him up from Manchester. I said to the missus, why don't we stay here? Blah, 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 blah. She was like, yeah, fantastic. So we went and did the sites at Old Trafford, Etihad, Trafford Centre. That's phenomenal in there. Went and did the Trafford Centre, did the sightseeing things in Manchester. Then they picked Kian up, and then it was like, right, let's take a trip through Mid-Wales. Let's go back the scenic route. As I saw a sign for Bala, then I said to her, Haverfordwest playing in Bala today. And yeah, next thing we're in the car park and watching Bala play Haverfordwest at home.
Yeah, you know the score. You knew all along.
It was just a pure coincidence.
Yeah.
Never planned. Like
Mrs. Devine, to be fair, she's followed with you far and wide. But you've been a part of some huge moments in the club's history, crucial league games to that obviously unforgettable European adventure 2 years ago. You travelled on your own, but as much as the part of the Bluebird contingent, the boys perhaps a little bit too young to travel at the time. But what was it like to follow the Bluebirds out to North Macedonia?
Unreal. I still can't really get my head around the fact that I've been to Skopje to see Haverfordwest play in the international stadium of Macedonia. It's a little bit. It still doesn't really. You speak to somebody and they're like, what games do you go and watch? I've seen Haverfordwest play in North Macedonia. What? Skopje itself was absolutely incredible. From the cheap beer, all the way down to the weather. Well, that was out of this world. The statues, the supporters that were there. We all seemed to gather in the same bar, coincidentally. Yeah. Yeah, but I think one of the biggest memories of that actual whole trip would have been the fact that we actually got to Luton Airport. Our mini bus driver that we had was, I genuinely don't know how we got there safe. We were passing on the motorway going down, and then Kevin Haldane, then from behind the bar, groundsman from the club, he said to the driver, "Oh, I'm sure that the Luton Airport is off of this junction," and the bus driver was like, No, it's the next one. As we're in the third lane on the motorway, and the junction's probably 50 meters away. Just decides to cut straight across, straight off the junction. I'm sat in the back next to Steve Wilcox of the minibus, and I literally look out my window, and there's a Range Rover right next to me. Fortunately, that person on his horn, on his brakes, and we got across, and the driver was oblivious to it. Wasn't even aware that he'd even done that. So we were having a bit of a joke and a laugh then when we got there. And then obviously in the airport, seeing all the players come through. And then obviously having a beer and everything with not the players, with Rob and I think yourself.
I say I'll hold my up.
Yeah, we all had a beer pre-flight, and even flying out on the same plane as them was an experience that I won't forget.
Yeah, it was really incredible, wasn't it? How you
really,
say
really good, really good.
Once in a lifetime experiences, but hopefully not. With adventures still to come in the forthcoming years, hopefully. But you can see, you don't hide the fact that the Bluebirds mean a lot to you. Both of us and Becky were recently involved in The Spirit, which was an FAW video feature that looked at the club. You made a few admissions on there, giving me a bit of a wry smile. One in particular, you talked about seeing Jenks's goal, obviously against KF Skendia back at the Cardiff City Stadium. Riley was a mascot behind the goal, and during the first part of the first half, I was stood almost near him, and you could just see he couldn't stop smiling. There was nobody in that stand, just himself, myself, and a couple of photographers, I think. But you said, obviously, when that late goal went in, you just looked to see Riley's reaction, and it was up there with one of your favourite ever personal memories, I suppose.
Probably the greatest goal celebration I've ever seen, and he wasn't even involved in the goal. I think it's just the memory that has given me. Like, I still remember, although I still remember the goal, I still remember everything about that. I don't think I'll ever forget Riley's reaction. I still, even when I talk to him now, I don't understand why he jumped up and ran the way he ran. He was running the other way. Everyone else went one way and he went the other. But yeah, he's a character, he is.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I've got hours of footage from that trip. I'll have to dig out and see what angle I have of Riley celebrating.
Because I know on that Spirit one, they show the goal, and then I talk about it, and just as Riley jumps up, the camera pans away. So I was like, "Oh, they didn't even show it." But no, it's funny. It's just how his whole. I suppose that's how football grips people. It took him, and now he's a regular down there. So I think that memory will probably live with him forever. And the fact he was a ball boy at Haverfordwest's both of them at their last European trip, it was incredible. But he wasn't happy about it being in the Cardiff Stadium, mind.
Yeah, we won't mention that with Riley. It's proper dedication from across the family, and as you can see on the screen, you're now helping shape the future of our supporter base through the Supporters Association. Pretty newly elected into the position of vice chair during the early part of this season. I'm right in saying, am I?
Yeah, I was involved with the Supporters Association as I would say a non-active member. I was a member, but I wasn't really a member. I didn't really go to the committee meetings. I didn't do anything. It was just a number as such.
Right.
I went to a meeting. Was asked to go to a meeting by a couple of the boys in there. And unbeknownst to me, it was we need some volunteers for these positions. And my name got brought out when they asked for a vice chairman. Anybody nominate themselves for it or anyone else? I kind of got, Dan will do it. I tried to bat it off and say, I can't, I work too much. I got too much on. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But yeah, it's a role I'm 100% involved in. I'm trying to get it to the next, trying to just take us to today rather than the Supporters Association has been around a long time. It's got a wealth of knowledge in there from Barry Vaughan, Barry Webb, Alan Thomas, Kevin Haldane, Byron Evans is another one with some incredible knowledge. So these I'm going to call them older boys. The knowledge that they have is phenomenal. So I've kind of tried to develop that and take that on and show people there's more life in the party yet, and we're not over yet.
Love it. Oh, you mentioned Chairman Barry Vaughan there. He's an absolute oracle of the club, and I'm really looking forward to getting him on as a guest for an upcoming episode. It'd be great to chat through the history. There's not much about the club that man doesn't know, alongside many of the others there, Alan and Byron, everybody. I remember, and well, I'm well aware of what the group have been doing, particularly in my sort of over a decade association with the club now. Predominantly used to have sort of 10, 12, maybe 15 members, but they did an incredible amount of annual events, fundraisers, etc., for some great local causes. I know through the pandemic they were really productive in what they managed to collect, the sort of food banks and things like that. But this year it does seem to have boomed. You mentioned there new faces such as yourself and others to join what was already a well-established group, a core group of originals, if you like. But to take it to the next level, I believe you're up into the 70s now, the number of members within the group. So that's a huge leap. What's been behind that growth then?
I think I touched on it again. We've kind of taken it to today. Whereas before it was all paper and just conversation. It wasn't anything. It wasn't anything to make it today. So we've gone on to social media. So we've got our own Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, email. We've got our own stuff now, so we're able to get out and reach so many more people. I set a target at the start of the year to, when I came in as vice chairman, it was like, what do you want to do? I wanted 100 members. I fell short of 100 members, which I'm disheartened about. But on the flip side of that, we've gone from 15 members last season, 73 members this season, with half of that season in Carmarthen. So we weren't able to do what we wanted to do at the Meadow because we weren't there. So I think it's testament to everyone got on board with what we were trying to do. So we were given, as a member, you were having a benefit of reduced away travel on our minibus, where the M4 corridor to a non-member would have been £15. We were charging £10 if you were a member. North Wales was, I think it was £20, non-members £15 for a member. So it was £5 to join this season. £5 and you got £5 off the bus straight for one away trip. You've made your money back. Along with, you had the community, the support, the network. You've got people in there. The knowledge alone is worth £10 a season. Just having Barry stood next to you at a game, just telling you about the history of that blade of grass or something was phenomenal. It was. But he'll never get on a referee's back, that man, either. He'll always protect the referee.
Well, a former referee himself, and like I said, look forward to chatting to him about that. But everything you've said there, I've seen from afar, I suppose, and I've been keeping a close eye on things. For £5 for an annual or season-long membership, like you said, go on one away trip and you save that, you get that £5 back in discounted travel. So it's a fantastic initiative that, and very value for money, if you like, because over the course of the season, you're going to save a lot of money if you're traveling away, etc. And to form part of that community for anyone following, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest. And like you say, you've got big plans to get over perhaps that 100 members landmark now across the summer and into the next campaign. I think is more than achievable. You've probably done the hard work to get up to 70 by now. Is really great effort and testament to what's going on behind the scenes. It's what's really good and nice about it. I think it's not just for the regulars as well.
Yeah.
Welcoming new faces into the fold, enhancing the overall experience on match days for people coming alone, perhaps to be able to stand or sit as a collective, and enjoy the camaraderie off field as well. I think that's great. So first part of this, if there is anyone thinking I'd like to be a part of it, how can they join, Dan?
You can either, if you're not interested in joining right now, looking into next season, you could send us an email, an expression of interest for next season on email, which is hcafcsa@gmail.com. Failing that, jump onto any of our socials. Twitter is @hcafcsa.
Bit of a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. Facebook, Halford West County AFC Supporters Association, and Instagram is again HCAFCSA. That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, you've done well to get that out.
Or if you're at a game and you obviously put a face to the name now. If you see me, just swing on by and have a chat, and I'll take some details, and as soon as we've got next year's offerings, which I'm hoping will be substantially better than what we've been offering lately. Another thing that we've started last season when I came in was a membership card, but they're going to be collectible. This is the vision. It's vision. Yeah, they're going to be a collectible membership card. Where this season's, I haven't got one to hand, but they had the shirt that Ryan's wearing. They had that print on the background. So I'm hoping to chat Ben in a bit and see if he can sort me out with next season's design shortly, and we'll go from there.
You mentioned there what's fascinating and remarkable about it. It's not just about the games, it's the friendships that develop, the bus journeys you've touched upon, the pub stops, no doubt, and the stories, etc. And what I've seen anyway, there's been a lot of new faces visiting the Oggy Bridge Meadow. And, we were at Cardiff Met, the Kincoid campus last Friday. I mentioned on commentary with Alaric, who joined me as a co-commentator, how so many new faces are wearing our merchandise around home and away. To see those people coming on board the journey that we're going on as a club, it's been excellent. And one in particular, I can't help but think of Asa Hamilton, who is one of our newest fans this season. Asa and his family currently living in Ipswich. Been pretty fanatical as a tractor boy, as an Ipswich fan for many years with his dad, travelling home and away with Ipswich. He's switching Suffolk for Pembrokeshire this summer, moving his family to West Wales. So Asa, his wife and son Ellis, no doubt going to find a warm welcome in Pembrokeshire. But, coming to the ground, he will see opportunities to develop friendships and things like that within the Supporters Association. So for you personally, is that something that's high on the priority for the association to develop those connections?
Yeah, I think obviously football is not one size fits all. Everybody gets something different from a game. I enjoy the friendships, I enjoy the football, I enjoy everything about being at a football game, especially Halford West, because I get to see so many people that I talk to. And Premier League games, you go to a game, you watch a game, you go home. That's it, basically. You don't get that interaction with players, managers. It was only last night I was down the meadow and Tony was sat there. So I was having a quick chat with Tony. So you don't get that. Imagine if I was in London somewhere with the Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal. If I was there watching that and Mikel Arteta walked in, I'm not going to be able to sit down and have a chat with him. So it's... Yeah, I like the whole thing down there, and I would like to think that everybody gets something different from a game. Some people, it's just about being around people. Some people, it will be the football. Some people, it'll just be watching a specific player. But there's always that community down there where you feel part of something bigger, which I think is what it's done for me. I found something more than what I anticipated finding down there, and I found that. So the community aspect is massive for me. I want to build a community down there where everybody gains or gets something from that moment. Maybe not the results, maybe not the football itself, maybe not being surrounded by loads of people. Maybe they're looking for something different, which hopefully we can cater for.
I love that. That's inspiring and reassuring, I suppose, for a lot of people. considering joining the Supporters Association, that it is very inclusive. I will say that, and you're welcoming new people with open arms. So hopefully they get in contact with you. You mentioned the community and things like that. I can't take my eyes off Kian. I'm assuming his shirts are hanging up behind you.
All up there. That's just a couple.
His previously sponsored players and things like that, because Kian's been a big part of the journey over the last few years with the football club. You'll probably tell me exactly when he started, but that football drawing has become a bit of a hit in Bluebird circles and beyond. We had the chance to interview him on the Nest back, probably the teens, way back when.
Yeah.
I think episode 18 is ringing a bell with me. Not that I'm...
I was going to say 17 then, but I think it might be 18.
I think it could have been. But it must be so special to see Kian's journey, combining his creativity and entrepreneurial skills with sport. It's not just football anymore, to be fair. What's it been like for you? Well, as parents then, watching his journey?
He came downstairs. It was during COVID lockdown, the first one. Feels like 2014, but 2019, 2020, something like that. He came down with his pad, and he had Aubameyang, who was my favourite player at the time, current player. And he came down and he said, "Oh, look at this, Dad." And I was like, "Oh, who did that?" And he was like, "Oh, me." And I was like, "No, you didn't." And he was like, "Yeah, I did." So I was like, "What are you going to do with that now?" And he said, "Oh, nothing." And literally in front of me, deleted it in front of me. And I was like, "Why have you done that?" And he was like, "Well, I just enjoy drawing them, and that's it." He said, "What's the point in having it on here if I'm not gonna draw it again?" So I was like, "Well, why didn't you start an Instagram page or something and just share them?" Then he was like, "I'm not allowed Instagram." Playing it back on the parenting. Then I'm not allowed Instagram. I'm not allowed social media. So I set him up that football drawing page on Instagram. The rest is history. Like, he's just absolutely taken it in his stride. He's gone with it. He's drawn some players for some big clubs. I think the one that he's got a shirt in his bag somewhere from Jose Sarr, the Wolves goalkeeper. He had a request for drawings of Jose Sarr from Jose Sarr's goalkeeper coach at Wolves. Obviously, reading it, Kian was like, "Oh, I'll do it for free." And then, in fairness to Tony Roberts, it was the Wales goalkeeper coach. He said, no, Wolves are paying you for them. I'm using them in a slideshow. So Kian had a transaction from Wolves Football Club in his bank account. And then Tony, unbeknown to Kian, Tony sent him a signed Jose Sarr shirt, which is in a bag because Kian won't put Wolves on the wall because he's an Arsenal fan. But no, it's absolutely phenomenal to see somebody at, what was he, 15, with that sort of idea. Well, not idea, because I've told him to go for it, but to take it into the business. And I keep saying to him, like, most businesses fail in the first 3 years, although he's not living off his business. He wouldn't be eating much. He's still going with it. It's still going strong, and he's still getting requests, which is testament to what he's done. And now I've started seeing that there are other companies now, or brands, or people that are jumping on and doing a similar thing. But yeah, he was. So I think that's good. If somebody's trying to copy what you're doing, then you've got something. So yeah, he's still going with it, still going strong, and I'm quite proud of him. He's still looking at new things to bring in, which is obviously brilliant. He's not got stale with it. He's still looking at more ways of developing it, which is something I've said is testament to his hard work. Yeah,
it's fantastic to see how he's grown, through his teenage years, alongside his studies, which he's doing really well with as well, I know, in his coaching and things. But what's remarkable for me at that age, if I'm making a bit of money out of a project I got going on, I'm spending a lot, But what Kian really maturely does is reinvest that wisely. As I mentioned there, the shirts behind you, those are shirts of players he's sponsored throughout a season, which costs money. He's had his advertising board at the Augie Bridge Meadow now for a couple of years. So he's really maturely developing the business, and long may it continue. I know he has good interactions with some big names. It recently did the Welsh women's national team manager, Rhian Wilkinson, and she shared it on her social media and things like that. And it's just really, really good to see. we can't talk about Keanu without talking about Riley, your youngest. An up-and-coming goalkeeper. He's played and won trophies with the academy over the last few years, and I've seen him down there regularly now with his mates. He's becoming a bit of a fanatic himself.
Yeah, he definitely has something down there. He gets something else from it. I don't know if it's a social aspect of it with his mates, but watching football, and he knows all the players. They all know him, and so they all say hello to him, which probably makes him feel important. So he's enjoying it down there. He's still playing football at the minute. Not in goal as much as he wants to be, I don't think. But I'm hoping that he will maybe see the light and come back to the academy this year, or trial at least. So we'll have a go. See where he's at.
We wish them both the best of luck with what they do anyway. But right, before we wrap up, final question. As we head towards the last game of the season, obviously we've got TNS, the champions, at home this Saturday. Third place for us is already secured. It's been a record-breaking season yet again on all fronts, or lots of fronts anyway. The playoffs await. Two potential routes for us. In essence, if TNS win the Welsh Cup, Penabont will qualify for Europe automatically, and we will go directly into a playoff final, which would be at the Augie Bridge Meadow during the weekend of the 17th and 18th of May, against the winner of these four teams. Or if Connors Quay Nomads win the Welsh Cup final, with them sitting outside of the top 7, Penabont and ourselves will then have to host semi-finals against the winners of the other 4 teams involved in the playoffs. So lots of permutations. It all hinges on whether TNS or the Nomads win the cup final, but hopefully the graphics on screen explain more precisely. Dan, with all this yet to unfold in front of us, we know we'll definitely have at least one match at home in the playoffs, whether that's the semi or directly into the final. What's your message as a passionate Bluebird fan? What do you want fans and people of Pembroke to know as we look ahead to what is no doubt going to be a dramatic finish to the season?
It's just get down there. If it's your first time down there, get down there. You won't get a bigger game at the Meadow than that. Get down there. If it's not your first game, stop everything you're doing and make sure you're there, because it promises to be a momentous occasion. Win or lose, it's still an occasion, but we're going to win it. So let's get down there and back the Blues, like.
Back the Bluebirds, indeed. Dan, diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been great to have you on. Thank you for all the work you were doing and the Supporters Association members are doing behind the scenes to make the club experience even better. And for anyone listening, please don't be shy. Reach out, join the association, and I suppose be part of this next exciting chapter of the Bluebird story. Dan, thank you, mate, and I'll see you on Saturday for TNS at home.
You will indeed. Thank you very much.